On that day, 15 years ago, everything changed. It was the day the first portal appeared, opening a gateway through which monsters from a different dimension entered our world. In addition, elements from games like skills and levels began to manifest in reality. Some people developed the ability to combat the monsters emerging from these portals. They became known as adventurers. They could choose their combat style and class. People in the magician classes, however, struggled because magic was difficult to control, and the higher death rate made them a hindrance to their teams if they couldn't master their skills. Conversely, classes with speed affinity, like the thief class, thrived by staying alive and accumulating experience. I believed that the most crucial thing for getting stronger was accumulating experience. Driven by this belief, I climbed the ranks to become one of the strongest adventurers, and eventually, some people started calling me the God of Speed. But as the years passed, the portal disasters kept worsening. I fought on the front lines, protecting the country and the world. Then came the day when a boy told me, "I'm removing you from the Sword of Glory." When I asked why, he replied, "You already know why, don't you? The levels of monsters are rising every year. With your current attack power, you can't even scratch high-level monsters anymore. Additionally, you lack support and healing skills. You're just a liability to the team. The time when the speed class was dominant is a thing of the past. You're a low-level class with no room for growth. You can't even defeat boss monsters that a magician a whole level lower than you could handle. Even the guild has considered removing your S-class ranking as an adventurer because experience points from high-level portals are too precious." I replied, "I know. That's why I'm compensating with firepower. I'll put my life on the line and take down groups of enemies. No one is better at reconnaissance and poison techniques than me. I can still be useful." The boy responded, "Then I guess you should do your best." But I couldn't help but ask, is it really okay? I've spent my whole life as an adventurer, and now I'm just being thrown away? I know I lack power, but I gathered all the items I could on my own and spent the rest of my money on equipment. I have no leftover money now. The guild officially demoted me from being a natural adventurer, and I no longer have the authority to enter high-level portals. The Sword of Glory was dispatched to China, where they succeeded in conquering the difficult tattoo portal. And now here I am, wondering, what should I do next? Just then, my phone rang. It was an emergency. I headed back to the safe zone. During a time when the Sword of Glory was out of the country, there was no adventurer in the area strong enough to handle this crisis. I thought, there's not much I can do, but even a little might help. I then said, luckily, I didn't sell my equipment. Space-Time Dragon Kronos, what a pompous name. But today, it's a beautiful sky, a perfect day for my retirement ceremony. The scene then shifted to a battle where I said, I'm an adventurer too. I'll buy time for the citizens to evacuate until a better adventurer arrives. I was the first to act, but I quickly realized it was too dangerous to get close. The twin-headed Hydra's poison was lethal, and even a small amount could be deadly. But I knew that with the difference in our levels, it was too much to ask for an easy win. It would have been worse if it wasn't for my specialization in speed. There seemed to be no end in sight. It was all or nothing. I brought out the Thief's Claw, a skill that could steal items from enemies. If it succeeded against the monster, a strong, unique item would appear, potentially turning the tide of battle. As I engaged the monster, I started losing my vision. I thought this might be the end. My vision is getting blurry. I tried to play the hero, but I'm about to go out after only buying a few minutes. I'm so weak. If I could do it all over again, I would do so much better. As I clutched the object in my hand, I wondered, what is this? Did the Thief's Claw succeed? It's the broken clock of the Time God, a mythic-grade item. It allows you to rewind time up to 10 years. If this item is used, it will vanish from all timelines. I was astonished, thinking, this is the first time I've heard about a mythic-grade item. My consciousness began to fade as I muttered, I'm gonna die. This is so annoying. I don't have enough time. Please turn back the clock. Suddenly, a phenomenon occurred, and I found myself lying in bed with my alarm clock ringing. I checked the date. It was 10 years ago. I thought, was it all a dream? And my status, it's all been reset. Time really did rewind. I smiled and said, that's good. This time, I will become the strongest adventurer. So, you should give up on being an adventurer. The number of casualties is increasing, right? Ordinary people should not be entering the portals. The level and scale of the monsters are increasing each year, and the risk will be higher unless we separate the people from the portals. I really traveled 10 years into the past, so there won't be such danger in the future. It was common sense that people wanted a strong defense force. Knowing about things ahead of time is a big advantage. The ways to gain experience and items, that information will be a powerful weapon for me. At any rate, I need to obtain a first class. But before being able to obtain a class, one needs to reach level 10. Especially in the lower levels, classes are limited. People without classes can enter lower-level portals, which are governed by the guilds. However, they are not always conquered. Meanwhile, he says, I will be level 6 after this, while defeating the goblins in the E-rank portal. Are you hurt, newbie? An older man asks. What's wrong with this old man? I think, but I reply, no problem. The goblins are weak, but they might surround us. The older man then introduces himself, saying, My name is Omara Kenji. I'm a level 16 longsword user. I'm here to protect the beginners who enter this dungeon. They call me the tutorial dude. He's not a bad person, I think. My company went down during the portal disorder. You know, if it's guiding people, I can do it even when I'm older, he says. Am I supposed to just follow him forever? I wonder. But then, I see that I've reached level 10, which shows that I've gained 6 EXP and leveled up from 9 to 10, earning 2 skill points. The man says, You're strong. You'll become a strong adventurer. I was once an S rank after all. You can choose your class now that you've reached level 10. You should take your time thinking about what to choose. You can ask me for advice if you need it. He thinks about choosing his class. Classes are based on current skills and stats. Skills can be unlocked by spending skill points in certain stats. The man then says, I recommend the longsword. You can fight with strength, just like me. But with your agile way of fighting, the thief class wouldn't be bad either. Then, he asks if I've acquired any skills yet. Maybe you don't know how to choose them? Didn't they teach you that adding strength during training can increase your stats? Right now, both skills and stats are viewed as absolutely necessary, I think. The previous me also obtained them, but if I want to remain a top adventurer, then it's a waste of skill points. The skill I spent nights thinking about acquiring is useless. The other skill options are not good either. There are too few opportunities to use resistance skills, and of all of them, fall resistance is the worst. However, I still choose the skill. The message reads, You are bad with heights. Choose the proper skill next time. A window then appears, showing that fall resistance has leveled up to level 3 and used 15 skill points. The man comments, You used all your skill points on resistance? This means that you can only choose between the swordsman and magic classes. I reply, No, this is good. The hidden class, Gravity User, is only available if you put all your skill points into fall resistance and reach level 10. This was not known until later, after it was discovered. Even after it was discovered, nobody chose the class because it was too hard to use. There was no research on it even 10 years later. But I know, because I was an S-rank adventurer. Gravity User is the strongest class. A window then appears. Choose the Gravity User class with options of yes and no. The man says, You should be a swordsman, not a magic class user. But I reply, No, it's fine. It's the magic class. I'm betting everything on this class. This time, I'll be able to live without facing death. The man accompanying me says, Magic classes are not good. You're vulnerable, your endurance will be low, and their death rate in battle is overwhelmingly high. So, you should give up on being an adventurer. After all, people think that close-range classes are the strongest in this era. Suddenly, something appears. It's the Red Cap, a level 17 monster. You're joking, right? Why did such a high-level monster appear? It's a real monster, but the chances of it appearing should have been low. I only came here because I thought there were only lower-level monsters. I have to run. No, there are only newbies around, and they're around level 10. I've got to do something. He tells everyone to run and says, I will distract it. A red cap? Ohara-san can easily beat that monster based on levels. However, he's clearly not used to fighting enemies that are on the same level as him. Then he asks, is there anyone confident enough to face a monster that's higher than level 15? For some reason, that level 16 goblin is unexpectedly strong, and he says, I'm sorry, but if you mess up even once, it's over. The main character thinks, I shouldn't be trying to fight it here. It's not a level I can handle. I can't even see its movements in the first place, and if I get hit by even one blow, it would be game over for me. The stats of a gravity user are low. I haven't even looked at the skills I've gotten yet. The other person remarks, that was a close one, and the main character replies, but leaving behind such a good person doesn't sit well with me. I also don't quit when fighting an enemy stronger than me. He tells him, you cannot fight it with your level. People in the magic class with this level difference will be killed in seconds. The main character then decides, I will use this to test the power of the gravity user class. I'm betting my second life as an adventurer on the power of the strongest class. If it's so weak that I have to run away from the likes of a red cap, then I don't need it. The weakness of the magic classes is their lack of physical strength. Therefore, a magic class has to work with other classes. But how is the gravity user class different? With gravity manipulation, you can trade magical power for a temporary boost in physical ability. As he uses gravity manipulation, he realizes, I can increase my speed by decreasing the gravity force on my body. Reading my movements becomes quite easy, but there is no problem if I can also read my enemy's movements. How many battles do you think I've had with my speed as my only weapon? The other person is shocked that a lower class person overwhelmed the red cap. The gravity user is a class that has high physical abilities as long as there is sufficient magical power. The potential of the skill it relies on is incredibly high, especially since low-level monsters have simple movements. I can overwhelm almost everything with gravity manipulation. The person then asks, what are you? He tells them to follow up as he opens a hole in the cave and finds a way to escape. He then uses gravity magic and gravity binding skills to trap the goblin, while another person slashes the goblin, gaining 28 experience points. In the battle just now, I can see that I can become the strongest with the gravity user class. Everyone is surprised and says, wasn't that guy just a newbie? And he defeated the red cap even though I was beaten so easily. To think that Ikoma, our main character, is a lower level and beat it so quickly, it's seriously amazing. I don't understand. Gravity users require a lot of mana, so it depletes quickly. I've already thought about it, but my magical power management will be really important. He thanks him and asks, should I carry you until you're outside? And he replies, it's a bit embarrassing, but please do. Even though there are so many adventurers here, to think someone at a lower level came to help, thank you for saving me, obviously, but also because you gave me the courage. I've always been afraid, even though I've only hunted lower-level monsters. And this step forward, thanks to you, will finally make me graduate. I'm happy I got to see the day of the birth of the future hero. As they finish the gray inspection of the magic, he goes to a receptionist, and she says that she has never heard of a gravity user. She asks if there is any party recruiting temporary members, and she says there is one party with someone at a low-level class. He tells her to introduce him, but she says that because he started solo, they might not be too happy with him. He becomes very sad because no one is likely to allow him into their party. Just then, someone from Thunder Knights comes and asks, who are you? He says, I am the leader of a new and upcoming party that's quickly rising through the ranks. He introduces himself as Utsunomiya Sho and explains that their party has close-range classes, so they would be happy to accept him. However, Utsunomiya also says that his stats are not good enough, though he does have a rare magic class. Even if they both have rare classes, they are on a different scale. Utsunomiya then starts to show his lightning strike magic and explains that being an adventurer is not some voluntary job. He says that the Thunder Knight class specializes in attack power and is pretty simple to use, but it is weak against fast enemies. It has a hard time against opponents that it can't just meet with brute force. The boy thinks to himself that working alone might be better until he gains some achievements. He then remembers how it used to be back then when it was important to have flashy and easy-to-understand skills and stats. Meanwhile, in the Adventurers Guild reference room, The boy says that getting into a short-term party until he builds up trust, is it possible? He is told that it's better to find a party that he can be with long-term. He realizes that he must hurry up and get some achievements before he can join a party, or else he will not be able to join any party without achievements. As he learns about the portal, he understands that the portal is the stone statue temple for adventurers to raise their level and collect magical crystals. These portals can be controlled and left without difficulty, allowing a capable adventurer to efficiently make money and level up. When he sees the recommended level, which is very low, he says it seems doable to pass the early stages and raise his level. As he enters the stone statue temple, he becomes very tired, thinking, "Nobody told me it would be so bad." As he progresses through the temple, he says, "If I beat even one enemy, I'll get a huge boost in level." As he passes by a statue, it comes to life and starts to charge towards him. He calls it out, but it doesn't respond. It is a level 20 monster, and he is somewhat scared to fight it. However, he uses his gravity scale and says, as expected, it's not even a match. Even though it's a higher level, I can easily see its movements and its weak spots, so I can defeat the monster very easily. After defeating the monster, he says, accelerating at half my body weight and changing the level of gravity right before my attack hits, it seems like that was the right strategy. As he gains 28 XP, he levels up from level 12 to 16 just by killing one monster. He thinks, now I will split my skill points, but he has to choose between two options. I can only level up one of them, he considers, but I can rely on gravity. He gives all his points to gravity manipulation and says, it seems like it's quite useful. It looks like he has reached his goal. He finds the core of the monster, a magic crystal, which proves he can defeat the knight statue. He considers going back, but since he still has a lot of magical power to spare, he decides, I guess I'll go for one more to test my new skill. As he uses Lightning Strike, the monster is instantly defeated. The man beside him says, I expected nothing less from you, to beat that sturdy monster in one attack. You're very skilled. Everyone praises him, as he is a level 26 adventurer. As he walks down the stairs, he thinks, how annoying, another stone statue. But the girl beside him says, the footsteps sound a bit too big, right? Soon after, a huge statue appears in front of them, and they are shocked by its size. They say, that looks very strong. That is a knight statue of level 30. It's a bit higher, but it's still a stone statue. He says this level of monster is just right for us, and we'll finish this up quickly. 6. As the monster charges to attack, another person asks, are you sure this is really okay? He replies, 3 of us, and she cannot do anything to change the fact that it's slow and simple. He pulls out his sword and says, it's not as fast as my sword. I guess its updates are mostly cosmetic, like the others. After attacking the monster once, he says, the strength is a bit troublesome. Let's try backing up for now. But as soon as the statue attacks them again, he exclaims, what is this power? How can there be such a difference when we're only a few levels apart? Someone else advises, don't lose your composure in front of the enemy. As the fight continues, everyone struggles to keep up with the monster. When he uses his Thunder Strike ability, he says, this is the strongest ability. There's no way this monster can withstand it. But it seems the monster has some resistance against it, and he panics, thinking, this is very bad. I'm not meant to die in a place like this. As the monster charges towards him again, he begs the monster to let him go, but the monster is suddenly stopped by a gravity manipulation attack. The monster looks toward the source of the attack, and he realizes that it is the main character who has come to save the party. The boy notices the guy from the guild with the strange class and says, what are you doing? That's not an opponent you can beat. The main character responds, that's true. It might be a little too much, even for an adventurer and a monster that have leveled up. It's been said it's grown too strong. As he charges another gravity manipulation attack, the monster struggles to keep up and finally weakens. The adventurer's party is shocked to see that a low-level person has beaten the level 30 stone statue. They wonder, how can he even fight against the monster? He's just a newbie. The main character thinks, with my gravity manipulation, I can't maintain it for long enough to finish this. I will have to take a gamble. It seems like I don't have any choice but to finish this quickly. As he charges towards the monster with all his force, the adventurer remarks, "His body is so light. Is that because of his class?" Using his gravity manipulation at level 2, he thinks, "I never imagined I'd use this so suddenly." He also activates the inverse gravity scale, reversing the gravity on himself, and says, "This is an interesting technique." He then uses double gravity again, and with the extra speed from the increased gravity, charges towards the monster with a meteor slash, finally defeating it. He gains 524 XP and instantly levels up from level 16 to level 23, gaining 14 skill points. "I guess I somehow managed," he thinks, glad that he could mitigate the impact a bit. The adventurer approaches him and says, "That was crazy powerful. Even though the monster had resistance against my strike, it was not effective at all. But to think I'd be saved by this guy, it's very surprising to me." At the Adventurers Guild, everyone is shocked to learn that a level 30 statue has already been defeated by our main character. No one can believe it, as a solo newbie adventurer managed to beat a level 30 monster. The receptionist asks, "Will you be selling the magic crystal?" And he replies, "No, I'm good for now. This is just to show off my achievements." Someone calls out to him, and it turns out to be the adventurer he saved. The adventurer thanks him and says, "I have good news for you. I will let you join the Thunder Knight party." He adds, "We have invited you because we are the fastest growing party, you know." The receptionist comments, "That person must be pretty amazing," and the adventurer says, "You're lucky we've invited you." The main character, Ikoma, considers the offer but ends up declining it. The story ends with him pondering why he rejected the offer, especially since he had been looking for a party not long ago. He explains, "I have changed my plan of action," as he thinks about the portal that will appear soon and the absolutely broken, unique item that it drops. "I remember the huge fuss it caused in my previous life," he recalls, and resolves, "I will pull out my best strategy to get that unique weapon in my hand." AC comes to exchange crystals for money, and the receptionist remarks, "You sold this many again, even though you're solo." He replies, "Please prepare the documents for the promotion to D rank." The receptionist explains, "There are things to consider, such as the fact that adventurers start at F rank. You become an adventurer by using your class, but only those teams eligible to respond to portal disasters are D rank and higher." She adds, "You must be at least level 25 to be D rank." He confidently shows his level, which is 26. She is surprised that he leveled up so much again, even though he is a solo mage. Amazed by his achievements, she says, "Your class must be quite something." But he replies, "My class is irrelevant. I am a former S rank, and I have experience and knowledge about the future, which will unfold in 10 years. He continues, "I didn't want to stand out, but it was absolutely necessary." The number of portals one can enter increases with rank. He explains that with many achievements, people will easily invite you to their parties. He then mentions, "In a few days, that unique item will appear. In my previous life, the adventurer who obtained the weapon received a sudden boost in power, but afterward, he became a portal criminal and attacked other adventurers. I will stop that guy from getting the unique item so that he cannot harm anyone." As he walks down the street, reflecting on his day at the guild, he thinks, "This is the 4th guild today. I might have to compromise a bit." He notices a girl being rejected by a guild and approaches her, saying, "Please join my party." She is surprised that he asked her to join, and he explains, "It's a shame to lose a useful human resource, and I can't let this chance go." Others around them say, "This girl is absolutely useless. You should join us instead." She responds, "I am grateful for your offer, but you're higher level, and I'm still only almost level 10. He reassures her, "I don't need your power. I just need you to join the party, and I will support you in any way possible." She hesitates, saying, "I just don't have the confidence. I was even considering quitting adventuring." He explains, "If I have you with me, then I will cover the weaknesses of a gravity user. On top of that, your class is compatible with the crazy team setup I'm planning." In his mind, he thinks, "If I have her with me, getting that unique weapon will be a piece of cake." As they introduce themselves, her name is revealed to be Kisaragi Satsuki. She asks, "Is it really okay for me to join your team?" He responds, My class also gets made fun of because I'm in a rare magic class, but this trend will change in a few years. He continues, anyway, I wanted to discuss the portal we are going to. She inquires, which portal are we going into? He explains, the portal that will open soon is one I want to enter. It has a recommended level of 30 or higher. It's the Crazy Dream Theater. She notes, that's a high-level portal. It's the opposite of the maintained portals meant for leveling. It's a portal without much information since it just appeared, and it's impossible for me to enter since I'm only level 17. Also, I have a horrible class. He assures her, I will make sure you won't be in danger. He adds, I will be standing in front of you. Just trust me, and let's go into the portal. She asks, what do you even mean by that? He replies, I can't discuss specifics, but thanks to a rare item, I will get it no matter what. Suddenly, a phone rings with a notification about a new disaster. A portal has appeared in a district right next to them. She asks, could this be the portal we are going to? He says, let's go tomorrow. This is good timing. As they approach the portal, someone comes up and asks, are you the adventurers? The structure and skills of the monsters are very high. She advises, don't push yourself too hard, and he says, leave it to us. Her partner asks if he plans to clear it alone, and he replies, if I'm being honest, you wouldn't let me in otherwise. As they enter the portal, named Crazy Dream Theater, he is asked if he is nervous and replies, yes, a little bit. He apologizes for making her come with him, and she responds, no, I will do my best. Suddenly, as they advance towards the portal, a level 26 circus bear appears. She tells him to use the Shadow Ball ability right away. As they see the gap, they use their double gravity to escape from the wall. He comments, I guess the monsters at this level are quite easy, as he levels up 3 times so quickly. He is thrilled and says, I'm so happy. She says, I feel like I'm leeching off of you, and he replies, your power will become much more useful as time goes on. It's important for you to level up since we're partners. As they advance towards the danger, they encounter a man being beaten by a monster. His companion arrives, kills the monster, and says, you have gained experience. Humans are easy to kill or be killed, even if they're the same level as those monsters. The man's name is Zaibi Kaoru, a level 37 adventurer. Suddenly, a new monster appears in front of them, named Jack in the Box, and it is level 27. She says, even though I'm casting magic from the back, it feels very intense. She levels up to 22, and Ikoma levels up to 27. She comments, it seems like I'm catching up to you. I think you can probably handle all these guys on your own. He replies, monsters of this level are not a big deal. After all, there's no problem as long as you understand their attack patterns. He adds, I've already set a plan for you, but you have a strong class, you know. She replies, shouldn't we go back? I think our magical power is getting a little low. Both their magical power and HP are very low. She advises, we should try to retreat once half of your magical power is gone. He agrees, you're right. I guess it's time to do that. Suddenly, a clown goblin with a level of 24 appears in front of them. He tells her to use mana drain as he handles the goblin. She says, if there's a monster that can safely restrain and use mana drain on, we can basically have infinite magical power. She explains, another use of mana drain is to transfer magical power to another person. I understand the theory behind it, but monsters only get stunned by the skill's effects. After she uses mana drain, he says, good, it's over. She adds, I kind of feel bad for it, then says, I'll start transferring magical power now. After some time, he kills the goblin. He checks his status and says, this is the 6th one. How's the magical power looking? She replies, it looks like I've basically recovered all of it. She continues, if we keep doing this, we can continue in the portal without any worries. We've made good progress after the whole day. They reach the door, and he says, behind this door lies the portal boss of Crazy Dream Theater. I'm sure we can easily beat them. Her companion suggests, we should go back, but she is determined. He replies, we can go back for today if you want. She says, I want to continue. If you say you need my power, then I will do my best. He agrees, then let's go. Confidently, they open the door and enter. In front of them is a huge mad clown with a level of 35. He says, this is the boss of the portal. If I beat this guy, I will get the unique item in my hands. He adds, let's do it as planned. After facing the boss, Ikoma says, I will pull the aggro first. This will allow Satsuki to maintain some distance. Portal bosses have high HP and good regeneration. It's obviously not an enemy we can beat by just relying on levels. We might have to play a little unfair. As he charges his ability, Gravity Modi, he notes, 1.5 meters is the time distance. I can still do it multiple times. Satsuki uses her Mana Drain ability. Ikoma tells her, run away for now. I'm going to use Gate. As she retreats, he warns, you'll get cornered if you go too far. Move to the middle. She responds, those fibers are scary and fast. I should back up for a bit. As the clown keeps attacking them, Ikoma repeatedly uses Gate and Inverse Gravity. The clown is surprised, and Ikoma says, too bad for you. I'm over here. He adds, it was a bit closer than I expected, but it went well. Satsuki asks, aren't I going to attack? Ikoma replies, the boss has strong magic attacks. If you rush in, you'll be burnt to ashes. But if you attack from afar, you can beat it easily. As Satsuki uses Mana Drain again, she says, I went too far trying to cover for Ikoma. Ikoma uses his final Meteor Slash, and the clown is defeated. They gain 1043 XP, and Ikoma levels up from 27 to 30, gaining 6 skill points. Satsuki asks, we really beat the portal boss. What should I do now? Ikoma reassures her, don't worry about it. It takes at least half a day for the portal to close, and the monsters won't come out. She replies, I didn't know that. The boss drops an item, the Crown Blade. Ikoma notes, it probably has the highest compatibility with gravity users. It's a balance breaker. Same goes for this weapon that you wanted, the Crown Blade, which is a C rank. The Sword of Offense deploys skills faster and reduces magical power usage. He says this drops from a boss. That being said, it does not seem that strong, and he replies no. This weapon is really strong, as you explain, and it helps to set the standard for all these weapons. It is a completely broken weapon and a balance breaker, especially for gravity users. You create a gap when you change skills during a fight. As long as I have this, it will help me cover all my weaknesses. In reality, in my previous life, the guide's weapon made it all the way to A rank with this power, killing an ACC criminal, so I guess I was able to enter fair. Except for the weaknesses of gravity users, she thinks it could be, you don't need me anymore. He replies, possible. I would like to party with you after this as well. Even if I have this weapon, it does not change the fact that my magical power goes away easily. That has some skill points since my level went up as he unlocked super gravity and gravity manipulation. Thanks to this new weapon, firing magic will now be easier. As they are celebrating the victory, someone comes up behind them and says, you have already conquered. You are strong. He replies, the timing is just too good. Did he use concealment to hide his presence, thinking he would lose AD and watch to get information on the boss? If so, then it makes sense. It is not very nice, but this kind of behavior was not really present in his first life. As he glances towards the weapon, he asks if this is the drop from the boss. Can I see it real quick? He says, yes, sure. As soon as he gives it to him, he calls him an idiot and says, you have no vigilance. Once I kill the guy in one strike, I will have some real fun with the girl. He says, you should pay attention to what's under you. He uses his very thrust power, but the main character easily dodges the attack. I was hoping to get in an attack while he was not expecting it, but he is fast. His level is higher than everyone else. This is very strange. How did you know? There was only a bunch of small fries, but it looks like you can do all right for yourself. He says, you think you have guts? And he replies, I want to see you vomiting blood in shame as you die. Icy Cheech, this is getting very bad. He was a balloon adventurer killer in my previous life, and also the previous owner of the Crown Blade. I should have known there was a possibility he was connected to this portal based on the contact web. So far, he is at a higher level than me. Her companion says, don't step forward. Assassins rely on speed and certain attacks to cause critical injuries. For a backline class like Shaman, your heart will be cut out of your chest the second you step forward. No matter what, do not get near him. I will deal with him. His class counters mine. He has more experience, and most importantly, he will be tainted by this man's evilness. As he uses his gravity manipulation, he says, that's swordsmanship. You've never really killed someone, have you? He replies, I've killed multiple people, you know. That gives me a huge advantage over you. While we're fighting, I will create an opening and increase the pressure with my slashes. He says, this sword won't break. It cannot be. He starts to get rid of any moment of hesitation. This is unbelievable. A guy whose level is lower than mine. This is not good. He is using his head. He's also crazy strong, and I'm glad this happened. After I got the crown blade and with the increased speed of my skills, I can quickly change between gravity and double gravity. I can withstand his attacks. If I had not reduced magical power, I would be in trouble. He says, that's enough, as he uses his skill, Poison Needle. He blocks the poison idol for the first time and is very surprised as he's running in a circle. Don't get carried away. He uses his double gravity power and is speeding up his arms, launching multiple attacks at once at the target. Because of that, the skill moment becomes simple. It's not a skill that you can show to people often. His companion uses shadow balls. The man says, you stay within my sight, and it hurts. I understand the skills. I won't hold back just because I haven't killed before. I can easily follow his movements with gravity manipulation. The only problem is my magical power. It's barely left because of the prolonged fight. There's a time limit. Once I run out, I can easily beat him. I will push forward to kill him. He says, you will never have that chance. It was your misfortune that you bumped into me first. As she uses shadow balls and shadow step, the boy easily dodges her attacks. He says, I'm basically invisible. She responds, even though Ikoma was pushing forward, when did he turn the tables? He reaches very well. It's kill or be killed. That's the beauty of fighting each other. Let's have more fun, he says, while dodging every attack sent his way. I really can't do anything, can you? If I move with the lightness of gravity, my acrobatic moments are the easiest way. Zaibe adds, is this your portfolio? Attacking me, dodging them, just realize that I am using a ton of my MP. He says, the light from the scale is finally showing. It's most likely a body transformation skill. When observed, it will be for you to set your limits. He then says, I know you are, as he manipulates them. He adds, I am out, and I have to beat him in the next attack. When he charges at him, he says, what's the point of it? I can't get on while he is in the air. He has gotten me. Increase the gravity, then hold. With this one strike, I will put all of my remaining magical power into it. As he charges the meteor slash, a powerful attack, he cannot hold it and emerges victorious in the fight. He tells her to run away right now. He does not have time. He gets up and says, are you fighting in a state of exhaustion after defeating the boss, all to protect that little miss over there? She replies, I am a hindrance after all, only a date, but he told me I could never lose to a guy like this. He says, I need your power. She replies, I don't need to tell someone like you my name. He responds, when I can respect you, I will do you a favor and remember your face. As he charges at her with a dagger to kill her, she uses her shadow balls. He calls it pointless, but he gets hit because it was in his blind spot. He asks Satsuki what she is doing, and she says, I told you to hurry up and run. She replies, I never run. After all, the one who told me that I could complete things was you, so I would never run. The enemy says, I will kill you first using the death thrust. She replies, we were fighting together, and who is dying? Let's see who comes out on top with my magical power. As the fight continues, our main character uses gravity magic, guarantees, and slashes Zabi. Meanwhile, he thinks that he will not make it. He says, I cannot believe it. To think that I would lose to someone with a lower level than me is impossible. Everything that happened in the portal didn't develop in this time. Even with the Demon Defense Agency's involvement, the result was simply slow, and reporting from the portal is very slow this time. Satsuki is also here. I will keep an eye on him. He says, call the people from the Demon Defense Agency outside of the portal. The monster has either disappeared or been defeated. It should not be hard for them to get out. He thinks, I thought he was just a little brat. As he is on the verge of death, Zaibe is helpless. The number of fights we've seen is clearly different. Just showing this guy, the scene shifts towards a table where Ikoma and Satsuki are sitting. Ikoma says, we managed to catch him safely somehow. I thought we were going to die there. She replies, and he continues, that battle's details are hard to release to the public unless the culprit is clearly guilty. The Demon Defense Agency will just quit on the investigation. This country changed after the portal disasters started to appear. The number of crimes committed outside the portal has automatically decreased. The government has also progressed towards a dictatorship due to the extreme circumstances. He looks at the branch office and room, creating quite an interesting scene. He says, "I knew you had the potential to be a star." He adds, "Come on and join our party," but Ikoma ignores him and starts to leave the premises. He asks Satsuki, "If she was your friend, are you fine with not talking to her?" She replies, "If you look closely enough, she's just a stranger." That video of the incident is how some people make a living from the portals. After all, there are people who live stream from inside the portals to their favorite viewers, and they do make quite a bit of money. He says, that is a personal choice. S7 watches the phone and says, 1 million views this month again. The mystery adventure that uncovered a serial killer is getting more views than my recent videos. She is the portal streamer Fujiwara Hoshinan. As they talk about something at the table, he says, leveling up is more about the quality of the monsters and the number of them. Therefore, the benefits that a weapon can give you are paramount to make up for the lack of firepower of the shaman. You need a high-quality staff. I want to make the next portal raid a place where we can make money. He asks her if she's doing this just to get him his weapon. She responds, "How do I say this? I am kind of in it for the story." He says, "Good for me. Comrade has good equipment." She is very happy that he called her a comrade. He continues, "I've already found a portal that can make us money. The grave of the old king, an undiscovered portal that formed just the other day. Its drop rate is usually high. You can find useful rare items there." She likely knows about this information. He adds, "I can slowly and completely retrieve them all." As they arrive at the grave of the old king, they face a level 29 White Knight and easily defeat it. He says, "Expected. He is really good at fighting." Satsuki delivers the final blow using Shadow Ball, and they gain 240 XP. She notices something that appeared with the magic crystal and says, "We were quite lucky today. That's a really nice ancient knife, a D-class weapon." She is surprised to see the weapon and suddenly asks him how much they are going to make from this raid. He tells her, "We are aiming for 3 million yen." She says, "That's a very high amount, and we cannot do that in one day." He replies, "We can easily do that. Transporting the items will take time, and we will spend 3 days sorting and moving out the items." As they advance, they see two people fighting a monster. One person, wearing armor, says, "You can defeat it quickly," and their companion replies, "Is the camera ready?" He responds, "We are on standby." As she uses her magic power, they notice her and call her a portal streamer. She says, "I saw her on a video website a while ago. I'm kind of getting excited." As the portal streamer notices Satsuki and Ikoma, she says, "I put so much effort into placing the camera to get a good shot, so step aside, please." He explains that he is blocking the camera just by standing there. As she starts again with the intro, she says, "I am the streamer Hoshinan," but they interrupt her once more, saying, "Sorry, you cannot use that footage now." She responds, "It's fine. We were too busy looking for good content, so I will forgive you." He asks why she does that, and she says, "Isn't it obvious? You're asking such a simple question." He replies, "It's money. It's all because of the money." She explains that it's the only way that something dangerous can directly become famous and earn a lot of money. She then challenges him to a contest in the dungeon, saying, "If you win, I will agree to whatever you say." They all agree to the challenge. Her manager asks, "Why did you do such a thing? If it can make the adventure dead, isn't that great content?" She responds, "We need more exciting content, and this month's ending is going to be insane." Meanwhile, Ikoma and Satsuki face the monster. Ikoma uses his Meteor Slash ability again, which defeats the monster very easily, earning them 364 experience points. He levels up from 30 to 31, gaining 3 skill points. As they advance, they find a dead end, but suddenly the statue in front of them starts to shine, and the exit begins to close. He says, "That's a portal gimmick. Elections and events in certain dungeons can attract attention, but some offer great benefits. Luckily, we're in a rare portal, so this might be a good chance." The statue then says, "You shall take my trial." The statue says, "Answer my questions and show your wisdom. The questioning will continue until the player makes a mistake. It will be true if you can't answer more than 3. Your life shall be taken." Ikoma, experienced with the statue, says, I won't lose in a battle of knowledge. He starts with the first question. What is the total amount of speed needed to go from level 1 to 10? Satsuki is expected to calculate it, and he replies, 45. The statue confirms, this is correct. The second question is, what is the magic monster with 3 phases and 4 legs? He immediately answers, the creepy doll. As the questions continue, they reach the 28th question. What is the monster that drops the mucus of a green slime? He responds, that type of monster does not exist. It can only be made in alchemical processes. The statue says, that's an unfair question, but then acknowledges, you got the 20th question right, it's impressive. As the entrance starts to open, Satsuki notices something in the stone statue, a storage ring with a rank of B. Ikoma says, that's a really useful item. It's a super rare item that can really be valuable. As they continue, defeating simple monsters is not difficult. The White Knights have strong attack power, but they are nothing compared to him. He says, I will leave an opening for Satsuki to use her magic. They are defeated easily, and as they progress, Ikoma's level increases from 31 to 33. He also gains the ancient knife, increasing his amount of items to 2. He says, we have plenty of time for further exploration and monster hunting. The scene then shifts to the streamer, who finally beats the enemies. She remarks, these guys sure are tough with how much power they have. Her manager responds, we have only beaten 2. This is not a great place. It's an explosive portal. After this, all should be quiet and satisfactory. She thinks that Ikoma and Satsuki might be struggling as well, but then notices that they are not. They are back, and Ikoma says, it seems like you have time to take a break. She replies confidently, we also have plenty of time. Ikoma hopes that she does not do anything excessive. Ikoma asks, do you hold some kind of grudge against portal streamers? She replies, it seems like they did not take it seriously when they came. It's not like I acted the way I did just for fun. Being an adventurer carries the risk of losing one's life. It's not something you can do casually. If you continue moving forward without reaction or resolve, you will eventually regret it when the time comes. She continues, I need to get something back to make up for that. I can't win solely based on numbers. This is bothering me. Her manager says, we have used up all our magical power, and we don't have enough left. We must save it for the return. She replies, I am aware of that, but I can't just back down like this. After all, I am not doing this half-heartedly. 8 years ago, during the portal disorder period, there were many battles and disasters. I don't want to be known as someone without resolution or conviction. I will definitely make you take it back. We haven't got any good footage either. Maybe an updated monster would be good. She says, night's timing, as she realizes, I have got it in me after all. I am the best. Just as she is thinking about going back to defeat the monster, they encounter the portal boss, the necromancer Pharaoh, with a level of 40, while she is only level 33. She says, there is no way I can beat this. We should get back. She starts running and says, sorry, you need to start running and avoid it at any cost. I will keep him busy, so hurry up and run. Her manager, however, comes with her and says, I am your #1 fan. How could I possibly run away? I may not be good at fighting, but I can be of help. As the monster charges and attacks them, her manager uses his shield to block the attack. The shield withstands the powerful strike, but her manager is lagging in terms of speed and capability. This is a high-level boss. Suddenly, Ikoma comes to their rescue and says, you were too careless. He uses inverse gravity to help them escape from the boss. He adds, I came after you because I was wondering if you were doing something reckless. I had heard about you from adventurers. I will take back what I said about you not having resolve. As the master charges towards them, he uses his gravity moiety skill and says it lessens the force of gravity, making it easier to withstand the boss's attacks. As Sakushi uses her shadow ball technique, he notes that the attack hit him, but had basically no effect. We cannot run away. There are 2 heavily injured people, and the situation is pretty bad. The enemy is the high-ranking portal boss, and those with the crown blade can assist gravity users in amplifying their power. However, this opponent cannot be easily defeated with a simple strategy, and our chances are not that great. The 2 who came with me did so because I asked them to. I cannot run away without them. He says, "Don't worry, all the enjoyable fights have a good chance of success. I don't dislike this fight too much either." He tells Sakushi to restore her magical power and adds, "I will keep its aggro on me until you're done." Hoshinon, who used enchantment earlier, is a short man who can provide specific support. She must be able to heal with magic. Sakushi will use Heal Whale by the time you can slowly recover using the magic power transfer skill from the Shaman class. Lack of attack power is not an issue. The goal is to draw the enemy's attention. However, the level difference is significant. He is level 33, while the boss is level 40. I'm not sure if I can maintain this with the gravity moiety alone for a long time. The manager says, "Please take care of my master." He replies, "Leave it to me. Its strength lies in its speed and size. A crazy first attack that is also strong. It's wrong to move. I have to keep a lookout for when that happens." The manager says, "I am still alive. My body feels like I cannot move. But where is Hoshinon?" He asks, "What's with that crazy speed?" It's a problem because of both gravity and the difference in our levels. It seems like it is very difficult to deal with it alone. On the other hand, Hoshinon thanks her and says, "Now I can use my heal ability. Looks like I can finally enter the fight." Sakushi says, "I will also help out." The situation has changed, but one thing remains the same. Fighting this boss for a longer time is out of the question. Let's defeat it in one go. As the fight continues, Satsuki notices that Ikoma has been cornered. As he uses his gravity moiety skill, the weight change is successful and creates a gap. He tells Satsuki to hit the monster in the face. She uses her Shadow Ball skill to skillfully attack the monster, but it has no effect. However, he says that it was good enough. The fact that it has hard armor implies that it has something that needs to be protected. As Hoshinon hits the monster in its blind spot, he notes that it basically has no openings because of its 4 arms. He can't get close enough, though. Even though it's a 3v1, he takes the attack head-on and prefers point-blank range attacks. He says, "I'll create an opening, and you break its mask with a magic skill." Magic swordsmen have a skill called Break. It takes a while to charge up, but it has the power to penetrate even the toughest armor. But how does he plan to create an opening against that monster? It has 4 arms, and its wrong feature is that if you get rid of them, its movements are the same as any other monster. Despite its level, it also has a significant weakness. Gravity binding is used, and its magic binds the monster's body. He uses this to find its arms. Under normal circumstances, it would develop easily, but due to the position of its shoulders, it cannot put enough strength into its attacks. Its large body charges towards him with full force. He says it's weak where it's exposed now. While it's still strong, he uses inverse gravity and says, "I've seen this move before. An attack that uses all of its power. I knew it would resort to it if it restrained its arms." The attack's weakness is that it loses its strength in this state. "With this, it's over," he says as he uses his Meteor Slash. As she uses Meteor Slash, the grave of the old King Portal boss is completed, and they receive 1,374 XP. He levels up from 33 to 36. Hoshinon uses her healing power to heal his soldiers, who thank her for that. The drop from the boss is the Staff of the Cursed, which is C rank. It's pretty normal for bosses of this level, and it's perfect for Satsuki's use or for selling for profit. When Satsuki asks if she can keep it since she got it from the team theater, Hoshinon responds that they can split it, as she helped out too. He says, "Don't worry about me. You saved us after all. I'll give you magical crystals and weapons to make us even." He also says he was about to retire, but he'll take back his words. "You're an adventurer with resolve, as long as you know it. But if you want to aim to be an ideal adventurer, you should probably stop doing things half-heartedly like this." Satsuki retorts, "What are you even saying? Being an adventurer is very stable." He disagrees, saying that at her level, she should be able to secure recent wins. He mentions that her mother was hurt during the portal disaster, and she has 5 younger brothers to take care of, while her father has already passed away. "Do you even know how hard it is to be an adventurer in this day and age?" Satsuki replies, "Don't talk about my family like that." He apologizes, saying, "Yes, I was acting like I was so much better while being in your business. It's not like I'm doing this because I have no choice. That's why everyone is scared of the portal disaster. I want to make people smile in the best way I can. Satsuki responds, "That's a good attitude." And he replies, "I'm rooting for you." After some time, they are out of danger. Someone asks her if her equipment is okay, and she says she got a video of an adventurer fighting with incredible speed. She's happy that it hasn't had any adverse effects so far, but they have very few magical crystals left, making it hard to make more videos. Satsuki says, "Wouldn't it be better to just get the magical crystals from the boss?" She adds, "I don't want to accept anything related to charity." He responds, "Don't you have something we can use? It can be anything." Later, at the Morima Branch Adventurers Guild, Satsuki shows Ikoma the video. He suggests, rather than getting information from portal videos, look for a specialist on data. As he watches the comments about his speed, he realizes, "I was wondering why people were staring at me recently. It was because of the video. It hasn't even been a day, and it already has 1 million views, as expected." Meanwhile, in her room, the streamer is thrilled about the 1 million views. Suddenly, her phone rings. It's Ikoma calling. He says, "We exchanged contact information so we could share information." She responds, "You contacted me quickly. Did you become my fan?" He asks, "Did you really upload a video of me?" He adds, "We agreed that if I wanted, you would let me upload a video. If you really hate it, I'll delete it." He remembers. But what was she going through? She says, "I just wanted to complain a little," and then suggests, "I have an idea. He draws a lot of attention, so we should make battle videos together." He hangs up, thinking, was she trying to say something? I didn't hear it. How did I end up in this place? He looks at the super rare item, the Ring of Wisdom, and thinks, if I can get my hands on it, it might change the fate of the world in a big way. He said, "I have confirmed that you are level 35 or above. It seems you have a good record as well. Your adventurer rank has been successfully raised to C." Satsuki replies, "You're already a C rank adventurer. It's expected of you. You'll be able to rank up to B soon." He responds, "Everyone admires you because you are the fastest person in history to rank up this quickly. It's rare to level up by completing quests with higher level opponents, but if you lack experience or knowledge, it can be challenging for people who are rank C or higher, as they are considered high level by everyone around them. I will do my best to follow your example." Satsuki says, "I want to aim to get to B rank by the end of this month." He replies that it's nearly impossible to achieve B rank in a month. Only a few people out of 1 million can do it. He adds, "I want to obtain it. There's a place you can't enter unless you're B rank or higher. The high difficulty portal, known as the Illusion Library. I want to get a drop from that portal, the Ring of Wisdom." She asks, "Do you know about another drop from a boss that hasn't been obtained yet? Is it the rare item you mentioned earlier?" He confirms, the Ring of Wisdom might be related to the root of the portal phenomena. It has a strong possibility of having a significant effect. In my previous life, it was rumored to contain information about the cause of the portal disasters. Considering the time I have, it might be a bit difficult, but I would like to obtain it if possible. I think it will be hard without you, so if I could trouble you for a bit." She responds, "Don't worry, leave it to me. You've done a lot for me. I'm really happy that you trust me, but it is going to be difficult to reach B rank in a month. It seems that achievements are more important than levels. Don't worry about it. I have a plan." He says, "For now, we will focus on clearing portals and achieving milestones." They fight many monsters with their abilities. After 2 weeks, they have cleared 3 portals, with Satsuki's level rising from 32 to 35, and Ikoma's level reaching 38. Satsuki notes, "I know their bosses are lower level, but shouldn't it be more difficult to beat them?" He responds, "They are strong and have high attack power, but at this level, their movements are still very simple. They also don't have any special skills. I chose portals that we could clear with ease. I researched all the portals that were appropriate for our level range. With this, we now have 5 achievements above level 30. I should be able to get promoted to rank B." When he goes for promotion, the receptionist says, "It certainly seems like you can be promoted with this many achievements in such a short time. However, we have a stringent inspection process for B rank and above. We will contact you in a few days." Uga arrives and says, "I can't believe this kid is already B rank. This is a contracted adventurer for the guild. Adventurers with significant achievements can sign contracts with specific guilds to work exclusively for them, such as portal management, responding to portal disasters, or giving advice to the guild about the unexpected. Their influence within the guild is quite large. He adds, he is almost level 40 and has many achievements in intermediate-rated portals. It took me over 7 years as an adventurer to finally become Morima's branch's first B-rank adventurer. He concludes, looks like a troublesome person has their eye on us. He says, I cannot just accept this. How can a new adventurer with less than a year of experience be promoted to B-rank? Uga is one of the few contracted B-rank adventurers in the guild. I won't be able to get promoted if I ignore him here. Promotion applications are limited to your place of residence and require a certificate of residence. I cannot avoid him, but I have already dragged Satsuki this far. I also have the information they cannot turn away. He approaches Uga and says, if you want to refute my application, I would like to hear an appropriate reason. Uga responds, your time in the portals isn't something for someone with your limited experience. Titles shouldn't be given away so easily. He continues, how are you looking down on adventurers? I was wondering what all the fuss was about, so it's Uga. I feel bad for the kid who got his eyes on you. The minimum age requirement to become an adventurer is 17. Do you know how many 17-year-olds have become B rank? Uga replies, in the past 15 years, the number of people who have advanced to this rank in less than a year is very small. Are you saying that all the promotions were mistakes? Defeating monsters higher level than you, as long as you can do that, achieving a high level quickly is possible. My level and achievements meet the requirements for promotion. If you're going to use my experience as a reason to reject my application, you need to provide a solid explanation. Rules and laws relating to portal work should be based on experience and results, not on someone's feelings or instincts. He adds, that's exactly right. Even with other adventurers who are better and contracted, everyone sees that he just lost the argument. Uga, upset, says, this kid is making a fool out of me. I will not forgive you. I will make you regret messing with me. He asks the receptionist for the details of the guy's level and class. She replies, his level is 38 and his class is Gravity User. Uga responds, I have never heard of it. It's a rare magic class, and only a few have it. His strong defense and high speed make sense now. I was indeed a bit stubborn. Rejecting an application without proper consideration is excessive. However, these are the conditions. I will see if you are fit to be an adventurer myself. Come to the guild training ground if you have the resolve. I will let you be promoted if you convince me in a mock battle. If you cannot, I will reject your application. He thinks to himself, he has left people half dead in mock battles before. This guy is not going to have a good time. The inspector scale is just a cover-up. He is making a fool out of me. His level is 38 while I am level 47. On top of that, he has a magic class, probably due to being carried by someone else. My class is Beast, which can harness the power of the Beast class. I will make sure to humiliate him and leave him in a state that prevents him from ever being an adventurer again. It's a class based purely on stats and power. He prepares for the battle, thinking, I should use my skills effectively. Uga says, make sure to take care of your body. I thank him for the heads up and for letting me participate in the battle. He then calls in Cheeky Bread and CCS, saying, I will show everyone what happens when you mess with me. You will learn what it's like to be on the verge of death. You can come at me whenever you're ready, he said. Of course, I will restrict the use of my scale, but you can use yours however you like. He added, let the public execution begin. He then said, I guess I will go. He used his gravity moiety scale and said, low level with little experience and a maze class with little physical abilities. It's common knowledge that mages can't win in a 1v1 fight. There is no way any of the historical texts will reach me. I will turn you into a good example. As he charged towards him to attack, he said, what's with his speed? It's not speed that fits his level at all. What is even going on? He just got the jump on me. Don't get too cocky. If I just fix my position, my balance is out of control. As he got kicked in the jaw and blood came out of his face, he said, that combo into a kick, those definitely aren't the moves of a newbie. What is this guy? The people watching. There is no way this guy is fighting with the skills of the strongest adventurer. The other percentage is just the rank of inspection. He wondered, is this really your name? And added, he isn't even using his skills. After all, I can prove this as I reach the peak year after years of hard work. I cannot hate him. He won't let me hate him. I was supposed to make a fool out of him, but no, it looks like I am the one who is the laughingstock. He is lower level and younger, right? I just want to know what is going on here. He said, your mistake. A gravity user is the strongest class to exist. I can really change my physical abilities with gravity manipulation in a short battle that does not allow me to use all my magical power. I don't think that I will fall behind any classes, even if you are at a higher level. Fighting without abilities is just respectful, and he puts more respect into his fights. His skills in battle are higher. I don't even feel any dark or malicious intent. I guess I will finish this. He used double gravity scale. He cannot keep up, he said. Only I came here, so he's just not fast enough, he said. Where did he go? As he disappeared from his view, he did not know where he was, but he was above him. He liked the amount of gravity on his body. The moment I clashed with Oga, I used the momentum from the collision to jump behind him since I entered his blind spot. From his perspective, it looked like I disappeared. Everyone cheered for him, and Satsuki said, I am so glad for him. He replied, don't mess with me. You are making a joke out of me. I will not accept it at all. He used his beast claw scale to attack him and said, I am not injured. I let my guard down since I thought the fight was over. Even though I surprised him with an attack, are you telling me that he reacted to it even though the match was already decided? You used the skill even though you said that you would not. That's wrong. Are you still going to continue this rank promotion match? He said, this guy is looking down on me. I absolutely will not accept it. I think it's good enough for a test. I'm feeling pressured by a kid whose level is lower than mine. If such an image persists, the guild will ignore it. It's true that it means less to continue, he said. Your promise of application is rejected. Everyone was shocked to hear that. He continued, you may have been a little clever, but there was no way you could be forgiven by any monster that you will face. Even after I let you push me back at that point on purpose, to make matters worse, you are injured from my scale. It's obvious you could react better immediately. He added that he never intended to recognize him in the first place and said, you don't know what will happen to you if he gets his eyes on you. When asked if he was impressed, he replied, you were there, and then said he was winning from the beginning. The last hit was because he broke the rule of not using his skills. He added, these inventors are talking to me like that. He then said, leave it to me. I will be your great friend and will make sure to spread the truth. I am grateful, but please stop. For that adventurer to not be recognized, I fought with the intention to clearly show the difference in our scales, but all I did was hurt his self-esteem. I should have spared him some face. Any more of this will be damaging. It will have an adverse effect on him, and I call it a ruckus. Someone started talking to him. He said, certainly, that type of person will hate you. You mentioned that you had something to talk about? It's about the Beastman, the B-rank reserve porter in Morima. It will be back if we leave the portal under supervision. If you raise the levels of the adventurers, we will also be able to collect more crystals. It has been reported that the distribution of the monsters has drastically changed. Their concentration of magical power is at unusual levels. We have to do something about it, and it is much riskier than some extra areas. So, you have to crush the Beastman before something happens. He concluded, even though our goal is to protect the city, it would be great if nothing happened. Satsuki says that it was quite pleasant to think that someone like him, being the contractor of the adventurous guild rank, was born close to his residence. I cannot ignore him if I want to rank up. He mentioned, I heard, but what happened? Did you get to his bedside? He says that this is how he exposed it to the public. 1,100 subscribers are going to fan the flame, and he added, you just want to use me, don't you? He also mentioned, I owe you. After all, I was hoping that maybe I could be of some use to you. He said it also increases my earnings, so I am happy about that. He added, don't do anything hasty. There are still many things we don't know. The guild has no choice but to listen to those with real experience, even if we get criticized. People will just target you as they talk about it. They also discussed a flood disaster that happens when a monster from inside the app portal breaks out. The only way to stop the flood is to kill the portal boss and conquer the portal. Such a disaster would never have occurred in my previous life by coincidence, but I changed after my previous life. In this one, the conversation shifted towards Oga Vishesh. There is a limit to how bad things can get, and to think that it would actually come true is going to damage my reputation. The situation is very bad. If any more damage occurs, my position will be at risk. Suddenly, a ghost fox with level 47 appears. If I defeat the boss quickly and take responsibility, I won't actually become the hero, as they are saying. Just then, a huge creature appears, the Ouija ghost fox with a level of 55. Evolution not only increases the level significantly, but also changes the appearance and figure of the monster. They even gain a new trait and scales. It's almost as if they are completely different monsters. Most of them are born from accumulated magic power within a portal and usually appear together with monster disasters. Not only is this one a threat, but also an evolved level 55 monster. What are we supposed to do against a monster like that? Oga says, "Hurry up and attack, you idiots. I will use them to create an opening for a fatal blow with my skill. You are not an adventurer if you don't know how to clean up." As the wolf uses its attack, he notes, "What is this? A stupidly large-scale attack." Rocks fall from the sky, and he adds, "Even though the scale is too big, it's the first time I've seen a level 55 monster. I did not expect it to be this different." As Oga lies on the ground helpless, he says, "It's too strong. It's just unbeatable. What am I even supposed to do?" The beast, with its scales seemingly playing dead after taking damage, can still see through his eyes. Oga realizes, it is impossible for me to run away. How can I die in such a place? As he starts to be wrapped up in shadows, he thinks, it's playing with me. Ikoma is defeating monsters while his companions are healing the injured. Everyone is thankful for their help. The boss of the Beastmen should be able to be defeated by the Demonst Man, but too much time has passed. This is probably the worst-case scenario. They are the Demon Defense Force, which makes it pointless to lose or rely on charity. The monster's skill is likely messing with your mind, but they don't stop and continue attacking him. He observes, this monster disaster is clearly strange. It's not a disaster that can be dealt with by the adventurers and team here alone. As he uses his gravity abilities, he reflects, Oga isn't someone that adventurers can go up against. It's surprising to see such a rule in this area. He uses his double gravity magic and asks Oga if he is okay. Oga replies, "Do you need to keep going? You look down on me," and adds, "I will kill you." The effect of the mind interference is more significant than he expected. He doesn't have time to be fighting with him and says, "Don't misunderstand me for this," as he uses double gravity and meteor slash again to attack him, cutting off his arms. He then says, "And take out the strength from his legs. Now he should be powerless." Oga responds, "How can it be? I was fighting as if it were a dangerous situation while holding back. This kid really has no limits." His companion comments, "You've gone too far." After that, the wolf charges towards him, and he notes, "It seems like the boss has appeared." He says words with a strange tone. It is the boss with level 55. The levels are higher than what was reported before, which suggests that an evolution might have happened. I think it's safe to say that the response to the disaster was too slow in cases of evolution. I want to know exactly what skills it will use, but as long as we defeat this guy, the monster disaster will end. However, it seems like an opponent we can defeat with normal methods. There is a beast spirit with a level of 30 in front of them. He continues, "The longer this goes on, the worse the flood disaster will get. This guy is almost toying with us. You need to deal with the enemies around us and protect the demon defense agent who got hurt. I will hit him with my fists, and the flood disaster will end." She responds, "Got it. Leave the rest of the wolves and the injured people to me." As the fight continues, he approaches the wolves and says, "We're just at wide of that thing." He then adds, "I've never seen such swift movement. It's the pinnacle of skill in terms of fights I've seen in my life." Using the thief class, it seems like it wasn't completely pointless either. No, That's a solid killing skill. It doesn't work, so he uses his gravity skill again and says, I will end this quickly.